minutes, and that's why he is so angry. And she was screaming, begging for her life.
And the jury didn't have to just take her word for it. Prosecutors called Scott Sherwood, Paul's partner from work, to the stand. They told the jury he had been interrogated by police and showed them the tape.
Let's go from the beginning. Paul, you meet Paul where?
I'm at Paul in his house in Little Cove.
Jurors heard him tell police his version of what happened the night of the murder.
So he gets in your red blazer. Who's driving you around?
I was driving. We were driving up towards where his residence was, where Catherine still lived.
Sherwood said Paul told him to park about a mile away from Catherine's house and wait in the car.
How long was he going to the car?
Over an hour.
And what did he say when he got to the car?
He said it's done. He had said the chloroform didn't work. I had to strangle something about
Black people, it's all about the unity, nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody.
We are in a state of emergency. Know the song about it? Like the hit? Here it goes.
Physical evidence to prove Michelle and Scott were telling the truth.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
No attendant saw them pass, but detectives wondered, could digital eyes help?
But let me preface my point with this story of Jeanette Salters, who named herself Mama Lena Diop, and her sister, who named herself Nzinga Jana. They inherited some land, acquired the land in Ghana, and was murdered by the locals. Why? Because they were Americans. A few of the natives didn't feel it was right that foreigners had a right to that land. So, we go back to Africa Negro.
And then prosecutors presented what they thought would remove any smudge of doubt from their case. A third person.
My name is Myron. They call me Sniffy. My name is Myron Johnson. They call me Sniffy. They call me Sniffy. My cousin is Dr. Umar Yana. I'm here to give y'all a message. Y'all better leave my cousin alone. That's what y'all better do. My cousin Umar doing good work for y'all. Y'all some stupid ass niggas, man. Y'all ain't giving the man no money. Y'all.
When Catherine died, Paul cashed in on her life insurance policy and homeowners insurance. It all totaled around $700,000.
The defendant said he would come to Catherine and burn up the evidence, and he did just.
Now it was the defense's turn to attack. Jurors would hear more about the checkered pasts of the witnesses.
done. You know, I'm done. So, you know, don't expect me to be on YouTube all the time. And, you know, because none of you are helping me out. I have to go to work every day. I have to go to work, you know, to make money. And none of y'all are dropping me $5 or nothing in my cash app or nothing. So don't expect me to come on here making videos all the time, because that's not gonna happen. Like I said, it takes a lot of energy to come on here and talk and make videos and put together, you know, presentations, you know, and you know, all of that takes time and energy. You know, I mean, don't expect me to come on here talking and carrying on.
Okay, so again, laws have consequences. Morals are just, you know, subjective. But when you have laws and things on paper that say, if you do this, we're going to punish you by incarcerating you, and you break them and you're dumb enough to get caught, then you're just dumb.
All right. Shout out to Reality Temple in the building. Just for I got to get him on here, man. You talk about somebody polarizing. Whoa. that brother is, I'll leave that alone. Shout out to the brother, though, Joe.
One thing is you want to make sure that you get yourself out of harm's way. That means move the vehicle out of the way if possible. The next thing you want to do is make sure you call 911 so that the authorities are on their way. And then you call the super lawyer, and I'll make sure that you take good care of it. I became a lawyer.
Thank you for donating to my uncle Taalik. I appreciate it, and I know that my family appreciate it because he's been on our lives for a year now. So, yeah. And I just want to say thank you because, yeah. Okay. Yeah, we love you guys.
If you've been involved in an automobile accident,
Bye.
For a free consultation, and that costs you no money.
Peace forever and always.
Unless we win your case. You should call me.
Peace forever and always.
And I'm not going to jump over the tall buildings.
Peace forever and always.
But I will take good care of you and give you super service on your case.
Are you living with pain and having trouble finding a doctor that understands how much that pain affects every aspect of your life? The certified medical staff at St. Louis Pain Relief.
Every Friday during Women's History Month.
Terry Ellis becomes the first of the Jews to offer the world her singular sound. And she does just that on
And that is Brother Taalik from the Reality Temples on Earth channel. And if you get a chance to subscribe, please do subscribe to his channel. He's a good brother. You know, he's doing good work, and he wants to do good constructive things. He has good information to provide. So please do check out his channel if you get a chance.
His argument, don't believe everything you hear. Consider the source. Consider the mental states of the key witnesses. Consider their possible motives. He started by attacking Paul's ex-girlfriend, Michelle LaFrance, the woman Paul had thrown out of his house.
She was a liar.
I ordered this book, God is on Trial. I ordered this book from Amazon, and I must say I've read it. It's very well written, very thought-provoking. Sisters and brothers like Alberta Parrish, again, God is on Trial. It is a provocative, thought-provoking, very real and honest point of view regarding the gods of major religions or the Abrahamic religions, and why those of us who follow these belief systems should be asking the same kind of questions instead of just blindly accepting and following.
And the defense also argued Scott Sherwood suffered from serious mental health issues.
Scott Sherwood, from the time he was 8 years old, was being treated for some major psychiatric problems. And one of the crucial
This is Palmetto Star, that you can call the prophet. Prophet wrote that. The prophet of God's purpose, and author of 3 Steps to End Racism, right now.
If the world practiced these 3 steps, what would it look like?
Black empowerment, Black liberation. The ability to define one's own reality is freedom. 3 steps to end racism right now is freedom in real time.
Now, why is racism trendy?
When hasn't racism been trendy in America? It is built off of racism. Everything about America is racist. We have never experienced the world without the shadow of racism, without the terrorism of racism, without the threat of racist intentions. We have never experienced that.
family-oriented community commencement, and just couldn't have chosen a better place for the Colored Only Cafe to make its debut. Very proud that brother Pamela Starr has hooked me up with this opportunity, and they've allowed me to be the vending. I right now have the sole vending contract with this wonderful establishment. So excited. All of my Philadelphians, it feels like home. All of my Atlantic, they already know. All of my ATLians, you already know it's home. But definitely it has a North Shore type of vibe. So please come down and enjoy. We are just here on the weekends right now, and we are Friday and Sundays. But every weekend you can expect a great time, cultural engagement, awesome meals, richer than melons. So come on down and enjoy.
Going into the trial, Paul was certain they would find him not guilty. Their life is on the line.
Yes, my life is on the line. I think the truth will come out in the end, and hopefully those 12 people will know the true story.
His fiancée Kat told us before the verdict she will stick by him no matter what.
I can't believe in him.
Have you thought about your wedding and where it will be, when it will happen?
I actually already bought my dress.
Kat's future, and so many others, would be determined by what the jury decided. For Catherine's family, the waiting was the hardest part.
I truthfully did not know what it was going to be. No matter which way you went with it, it was emotional.
Everybody who is black and interested in black people, let us sit down and find out how we can get together in one direction against one enemy and accomplish this job overnight. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told Jimmy here that black people in Harlem just stop saying hello and instead say salam alaikum. He said the whole thing will change. All you got to do is say salam alaikum. Let's say it slow. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Paul showed her sleep.
I stand for nature. I stand for anything that is right. I'm pro-righteous, not pro-black. I am pro-righteous and not pro-black. So do your thing.
People will be angry and think this woman knew. Each message
Hey, my brother, you know I had to call you and thank you personally again. I cannot describe to you how happy I was to meet you in person, by the way. That was just like amazing.
The future for the children will be decided by the people who are lost. Paul and
Come on then.
That's all for this edition of Dateline. I'm Craig Melvin. Thank you for
And I'm here to I need to never change. Nobody but you. Let's be honest. If black folks are going to get reparations, then they're going to need a 4-star general's approach to it. It will have to be approached in an organized, sustained, military-like way. A flamethrower of a man will have to be the keynote speaker concerning reparations. Brother Malcolm would have been the perfect man to go into the United Nations to pressure the power structure to give us reparations. But he's no longer with us. And his brothers who helped stop him haven't picked up the tab. They weren't serious. If reparations is going to be addressed, then a serious individual like this brother named Taalik Ibn'rad should be sent to the UN to speak.
Think of all the places you love to shop and eat in St. Louis. Now, think of them even more because they
in New York City's war on crime.
What up, what up, what up?
Hello, hello.
What is happening tonight? I should be in bed. Folks been missing the bedtime. I've been staying up way longer than I should be. Because anybody that know me, I'll be hitting the sheets at 8 o'clock.
I know I stayed up late at night too, honey, but then I had to get up again this morning because I this was hair day. I got to go get my hair done.
That looks good. I saw your picture on Facebook.
Say what?
I saw your picture.
Oh yeah.
New hairstyle.
Yeah, hon. I had to get her something new. I want to switch up. I don't want to keep wearing the same hairstyle.
You switched up right. Your hair is the bomb.
Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And guess what? We got Sister Deity on the panel with us tonight too.
Yeah, I know.
What is up?
What's so poppin'?
Going on with you, girl?
Hey.
We gotta do that streams.
Yes, and I'm interested in tonight's topic.
Let me know because I'm available the next 3 days.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Sister Deity, if you want to do a live stream tomorrow, that'll work.
We can do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that'll work. You bring the topic. What what you know what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
I just wait for you to send me the live stream to my email.
Okay, see, I don't go live. I don't do lives.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a YouTube channel.
Okay, well, I do it.
Yeah, okay.
I do it. Just send me the title to what you want to talk about.
Okay.
All right. You got my email?
Yeah. I hit you up and we responded back and forth the other day.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All righty then. It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And we're here on time as usual.
Yeah.
And it should be some other panelists probably be popping in.
Okay.
Later on. But it don't make no difference. The show must go on.
Yes, the show must go on.
So I'm here. And as always, of course, as you know, sisters always go first.
Yeah. I'll start.
But our topic tonight is, should Black people be concerned with this anti-Asian violence, whatever? Okay. So that's the topic that we've chosen tonight. And it's a topic that I normally wouldn't talk about on this channel. You know, I don't talk about the news, and it's a lot of things I just don't deal with.
Yeah.
But if people want to talk about it, I don't mind talking about, you know, these various things, even entertainment, because I know Sister Karen, she's really deep into like the history and watches a lot of the history of entertainers.
Okay.
And so we'll be talking about that, you know, and she knows a whole lot about the history of these different entertainers. She likes that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. We can do that. I don't mind spicing it up, because actually it's redundant and boring talking about, you know, certain things all the time. There's nothing wrong with it. And it'll be hypocritical of me, the person to always talk about how flexible in the mind I'm supposed to be, and I'm not that myself. So that would be very hypocritical. And I enjoy those things, but I'm not the source. So don't be asking me a whole lot about it. That's why you're here. You know, you get it started. I can give my little 2 cents worth of nothing into the conversation. I know a little bit of stuff, but you know, I mean, so don't expect me to carry the conversation, because I'm that's not me. I don't do entertainment. I'm not an entertainment reporter. Yeah. I'm not even an interviewer. I'm not even a host. You know, I'm just like sort of like forced into this type of thing. I usually like to just come on, say what I gotta say, and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not no interviewer. You know, people want to come with their book. Not you, Sister Noah. I'm just saying in general, like people want to talk about their book, and I want to be an interviewer. I'm not Arsenio Hall. You know, that's not me. But I can do it a little bit. Bring your own, so you can introduce yourself to the people, and they have their minds of their own what they want to do. Don't bother me. And I give shouts out to Brother D. Darrell, because D. Darrell, out of a whole lot of folks out here, maybe because he really don't know me, but he's brave enough to bring us on his platform, not once, but twice, and perhaps a few more times, because he said he wanted to get to know us. Wonderful, wonderful. So with that said, Sister's going to kick this topic off, and we're going to start with Sister Nova, then our soul Sister D.I.T., and we're going to rock this mother out.
Okay. Should Black people be concerned about the violence against the Asian American community? I say yes. We should be very concerned about the violence against the Asian American community. Black people in this country have been abused at the hands of these other people. No, I'm not talking about Asian people. I'm talking about these other people, okay? And we got minimal support against police brutality against Black people from the Asian American community, okay? I'm just gonna come out the bat and say, you know, come out the gate saying that right off the rip. You know, we have been abused at the hands of pink people for centuries, while the Asian American community have sat back and watched us being victimized and terrorized by these people. And, you know, we've gotten minimal support from them in the past when it came to police brutality against Black people, okay? But now, due to COVID-19, violence against the Asian American community has increased. Nonetheless, we have a common enemy here. We have a common enemy. At first, the media tried to blame the rise in violence against the Asian American community on Black people. Because whenever an Asian guy was attacked by a Black person, it seems like the media would focus more attention on the Black guy attacking a Korean or a Chinese or a Japanese than they would focus on a white guy attacking the Asian American community. You know, the media likes to play Russian roulette when it comes to their coverage of the Asian Americans being attacked. They like to play Russian roulette. You know, they'll focus more on Black people attacking an Asian guy or a Japanese or a Korean or, you know, or Vietnamese, you know, than they would focus their attention on some white guy doing the same thing, the exact same thing. But they could not ignore 2 weeks ago that this white guy killed 8 people. 6 of them were Asian American. I guess the other 2 were Caucasian, but the media couldn't bypass and gloss over that, okay, because it was a mass murder of 8 people, and 6 of them being Asian American. Now, this guy who killed those 8 people here in Georgia, he claimed that he didn't do this out of hate. That's what he claimed. Okay. But because he had frequented those establishments, those massage parlors, where he shot all 8 of his victims, he said he did it out of some sort of sexual deviancy, you know, that he had for those women. Okay. He did it, I guess, because some lame excuse about he did this because he had a sexual deviancy for those women at those massage parlors. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. This guy did it, and I do believe out of hate. He did it out of hate for those individuals because he saw them as the enemy. That's what I think. Or that's my opinion. He did it out of hate, and I guess he, you know, he can, you know, make the argument that he did this because he's mentally insane. He can make the argument that, yeah, I didn't want to end up raping any of those women, so I decided to kill them instead. You dumbass, you know, you should have just shot yourself. You should have killed yourself. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, you know, I didn't want to rape these women, so I decided to kill them instead. That doesn't make any sense. He did it out of hate. He did it out of hate. It has nothing to do with any sexual perversion that he has for those women, those types of women. Okay, and they're probably going to charge him with a hate crime. Okay, now, pink people in this country feel like their lives have been upended due to this pandemic. And they blame China where the virus originated. A lot of pink people feel like their lives have been ruined and put on hold because of this pandemic. A lot of them have lost their small businesses, and they blame the Chinese, the Korean, the Japs, you know, the South Asians, you know, the Vietnamese. Anybody else they can blame for the coronavirus ruining their lives. They blame them instead of blaming their own government and the failed policies that caused many small businesses and also many mid-sized businesses to shut their doors forever. Okay, a lot of pink people, they feel like this pandemic was a plandemic, meaning it was manufactured by government, albeit the Chinese Communist Party, and then used by US officials to implode the American economy in order for the Great Reset. I don't know whether y'all heard of the Great Reset, but the first Great Reset happened in the early 1900s, which led to what is known as the Great Depression. lasting from 1929 until the late 1930s. Okay? Now, many Asians, including, you know, the Chinese, the Koreans, Japs, the Vietnamese, you know, whatever, a lot of them have been sexually trafficked. Many of them, especially the older generation, have already been victimized and abused by their own government long before they came over here. Many of them, the older generation, are migrants to this country. Many have been sex trafficked. Many of them have been victimized and abused by their own governments, wherever they came from, just like Black people have been victimized and abused by a common enemy. We all have the same common enemy here, okay? We should care about what happens or what's been happening to the Asian American community, because it continues to happen to us to this same day. And the people who are most victimized in the Black community are women and children, Black women and children. While this system continues to marginalize all of us, but the people most victimized in the Black community are Black women and children, okay? If we excuse and dismiss the victimization of one group, such as the Asian Americans, we may as well excuse and dismiss the victimization of all groups. One group under attack is a threat to all of us, especially women and children. Okay, now I will make this last point and I'll then pass to Mike. We, as the so-called Negro in America, we got insurmountable problems of our own that nobody outside our group is going to solve for us. Therefore, we must focus more attention. We must focus more of our energy and attention on our own issues first. Because if we're weak, how the hell can we help other groups that are going through terrorization and victimization by a common enemy, the same enemy, the same enemy? Now, we must focus more attention on our issues and less on everybody else's right now. Because those same Asian Americans, from whom many Black people, even Black celebrities, are coming to their defense, is not going to stand up and march and defend us in the event of an onslaught attack against the Black community from our common enemy. And the years of abuse and terrorism against the Black community has proven time and time again that the Asian American community hasn't really stood in the gap and stood up to fight with us against police brutality and racism. Now, only after George Floyd's murder did the Asian American community show a little bit of support for the Black community. Okay, now I'm going to pass the mic.
Okay, dope. Passing the mic.
Yep.
Sister Deity. Sister Deity, you up? You up? Oh, for some reason she dropped some kind of. Oh, there she go. You dropped for some reason, I guess. I don't know. Sister Deity.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead and kick that fizzy.
Okay, so do I believe that Black people should align with Asians? In our current circumstance, no. Because it's not so much whether or not we want to align with them, but more so whether or not they would want to align with us. And the reality is no. But to get on Black people first and then to get on the reason why Asians wouldn't want to align with us. So Black people should not be concerned with the Asian diaspora's abuse in America that they're facing at the hands of the so-called Caucasian, because the Asians have worked with and still work with the Caucasian against us. This is seen with their restaurants. They sell us poison. This is seen with their nail salons. They abuse Black women. This is seen with their, and when I say abuse Black women, I mean it's a abuse that is somewhat agreed upon, because nobody is forcing that Black woman to go into these places. But we do know the mental psychological abuse and tearing down the breaking and building up of the so-called Black person, period, as to the reason why these Black women even frequent these places and get taken advantage of. These Asians are not concerned with us, and they know even before they get here that they too are minorities, even before the abuse that they have been getting that has been publicized. They know who white people, the so-called Caucasian is. They know who this pink person, this pink Neanderthal is. So just because it is being publicized doesn't mean that these Asians don't know their enemy. And this will then go back to my point as to the reason why these Asians would not align with Black people, although they know who is who and what is what. We also see their abuse to us in the hair supply stores, where Black women, again, willingly go into these places, of course, partaking in their abuse due to psychological trauma and self-hate. But they go into these places and get mistreated. And these Asian folks, they watch you and they treat you like criminals, and they work with the police. They're working with the system against us. They got these police on speed dial. They're all against us. Now, individually speaking, when we're not around, they're against each other. But when it's us, so-called Black people, and them, they are together. And so now, if we as Black people, though, had enough unified power, then other groups would align with us. But the Asians would rather side with the Caucasian, even after abuse and ridicule, because they see that the alignment with the Caucasian brings a greater benefit than it does with negative situations, as we've seen with the spoils of war that were murdered by the hands of that Neanderthal. So they would rather take the abuse, no different than the so-called Black American. We rather, as a collective, not me individually speaking, but as a race, our race would rather take the abuse from white people than removing themselves from the so-called Caucasian, because they see more of a benefit by aligning, and they choose to see the people that are getting disrespected of their race by the Caucasian as spoils of war. And then they'll somehow try to blame the victim, which is the people of their own race, as to the reason why these Caucasians abuse and beat us down. So when a person has what is perceived to be, or a group of people have what is perceived to be a power, and in this case, a systematic power, what they have done in individual senses, which is essentially an attack on the entire race, that particular race who is dependent upon that other superior supreme group of people who have the power that they're looking to obtain, they're not going to go against that. Because again, the power that they hold for whatever it is that they're getting from that particular source, they would rather keep getting that, as opposed to saying, look, let's go against these motherfuckers and take over. But again, it's a mental thing. It's a psychological thing. And then it's a couple of other things, but I'm not going to really get into that. But so the Black race, when we talk about aligning ourselves with Asians and these other races of people, we as Black people, because we are at the bottom, we have to be very mindful when we do the things that we do, why we do the things that we do, why we say we want to align with people, why we claim that biracial people are Black. Why do we want to assimilate with everybody who is getting attacked by the Caucasian, not realizing that the same people that we want to assimilate with that is getting attacked by the Caucasian, they too attack us. So we still want to keep running to our enemies. Like you have Black people that want to go to Ghana, but these Ghanaians and these people from Ghana and Africa, they have also mistreated the so-called Black American. We keep looking to other enemies of a lesser form to go against what is perceived to be the greater enemy, and these other groups ain't thinking like that. When you're at the bottom, you have no choice. So we keep trying to pick at everybody that we feel is being oppressed by the so-called Caucasian. Like everybody is getting bullied by this one bully, so we need to go against them. And nobody else sees it that way, because the people that's getting bullied at the bottom don't have something that the other groups of people immediately want. And everything that they do want from us, they're already abstracting that. They're abstracting our resource. They're abstracting our energy. They're getting all of our stuff for free. So when it comes to us as so-called Black people, particularly Black Americans or whatever the case may be, even Caribbeans, but so-called Black people, and not those directly from the African diaspora, we don't see power in our own selves. And then to align with the group of people, when we as a group of people are mentally oppressed, in a perfect world, yeah, that would make sense. But in a perfect world, that would mean that we would understand that even by aligning with these other groups of people against this one common enemy, that these other lesser forms of enemies are still our enemy. If we were to align with these people right now, because Black people have so much self-hate and want to look like everybody and want to wear weaves and want to get their fingernails done by these Asians, and they are already allowing Asians and Caucasians to play their God when they go in the nail salons and they go and get these wigs and these weaves, you're allowing these people to play God with you and create you and give you a look. We can't even align with these people right now because the so-called Black race will want to be so integrated with these people that they will forget that they are Black, and they'll forget that these people are Asian and want to start talking about we are all human. And then if we align with them and we take out this common enemy, then that other group of people is going to be able to take us out because our minds are so watered down, infiltrated with self-hate, that we want to be a part of everybody. So when we align, we don't understand that we still got to be unified with our own and align for a greater cause, but still look at these people as our opposition. Black people don't do that. We want to align with people. We want to be friends. We want to love. We want to be a part of. We want to claim that just because the Asian got a broad nose and thick lips, that they came from us and they are also of our race. We start to want to blend and mix ourselves with these people and find ourselves within these people and find these people within ourselves. We want to be mothers and fathers to these other races of people and not realizing these people don't like us. And so to align with them in a perfect world, just like these white folks align with anybody that they can to take out whatever enemy it is that they need to take out at that moment, Black people don't have the mindset to do that. So yes, again, and again, and again, and again, in a perfect world, and I say that repetitively because people pick and choose what they want to hear. In a perfect world, it will make sense to align with the lesser enemy to get rid of the greater enemy. But in this current situation and circumstance, Black people cannot afford mentally to align with other groups of people. Mentally, we can't afford to align with other groups of people because we don't even like ourselves. And I'll give the floor.
All right. Hey, sister.
Let me respond to what Sister Deity said. Now the question posed here tonight was, should Black people be concerned about the violence against the Asian American community? See, the word concerned, that's the key word here. If the question was, should Black people align themselves with the Asian American community, then I would have said no. I just want to make that perfectly clear. You asked the question, should Black people be concerned? When you say the word concerned, well, I'm one of these people that is concerned about other people. I'm concerned about the violence that happens against anybody, not just Black people. You know, I'm concerned about innocent people being attacked. I don't give a damn what ethnicity you are, what nation you came from. I'm concerned about other people and their well-being. But if you had said, should Black people in this country align themselves, you talking about align, the word align themselves with the Asian American community? No, because for one thing, they don't want to align with us. They don't want to align with us. They never have aligned with the Black community on anything. Okay, so no, Black people should not align themselves with the Asian American community. But should you be concerned about your fellow human being being attacked unprovoked by your common enemy? Yeah, we should be concerned about that, because that happens to Black women getting attacked, Black children getting attacked by our own men. Just a little girl, I call her a little girl, but she was 23 years old when she went missing. Her name was Taja Dye. She went missing on January the 19th, I believe. January the 19th. Her family reported her missing, okay, after she failed to come home because she was living with her mother at the time. The little girl was found dead. I keep calling her a little girl, but she was 23 years old. She was found dead in the back seat of her own vehicle in a residential neighborhood in Richmond, Virginia. Okay, weeks later, after she went missing. And you know, she was last seen with a black man at a restaurant having dinner. She was on a date with a black man in his 40s, okay, 42 years old. Yeah, you know, this kind of stuff happens to black women. We get attacked by our own men, okay? Men, you know, even from our own neighborhood attack us. You have to be careful about your own surroundings. So I'm concerned because if one group, you know, is getting attacked, then that is cause for concern when it comes to other groups, okay? That's cause for concern because we have a common enemy here. But should we align ourselves with the Asian American community? Hell no. They're not going to align themselves with us. Furthermore, we got our own insurmountable problems as a people that nobody else is going to solve for us. Therefore, we must focus more of our energy and our attention on our own damn problems because we got way too many problems in our own community, okay, that plague us as a group in this country. Okay, so I just wanted to, you know, clear that up because the question was, should black people be concerned about the violence against the Asian American community? Yeah, we should be. But should we align ourselves with them? No. No.
But I'm glad that she did bring that up because that's a good good that's a good
they not gonna align with us no way.
Chances are no.
No. And you know, no, they ain't our friends. Not like that.
No.
We ain't got no friends. Y'all, come on now. Y'all know we ain't got no friends. We ain't got no friends in the world. No, I mean the black community, okay?
Well,
you know we ain't got no friends.
Dr. Clark says we have no friends. If you want to
we ain't got no friends.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do want to say this. As far as the concern part, I think that that speaks to the human of the so-called black race. That speaks to our full-blooded human gene. Our lack of Neanderthal gene, which makes us warm and makes us soulful and it makes us caring and concerned. It makes us as women motherly. It makes black people in general, it makes us concerned. Whereas with these other nations who do have that Neanderthal gene and trait, it gives them the ability to turn that trait off or turn that off and become callous and cold when it comes to people that in some cases look like them, but in most don't. Our race of people, if we go back through history, our race of people have been fed to alligators, babies. You know, these Asian people, they feed us poison. So, I mean, they have these restaurants up as we speak, feeding black people somewhere cat, rat, and dog. So to be concerned about them killing us slowly while this cracker killed them fast, I could give a fuck less. Excuse my language, but I could care less. You know, so when it comes to the concern, again, that's a beautiful trait to have because it shows the humanness of the so-called black race. But in the same sense, that concern, if not directed properly and understanding what war is, it can become our weakness. And that has been what our weakness have been for so long, is that we keep showing concern and empathy and compassion and to people who we shouldn't. That gotta be, so we have to learn as a group of people to turn that shit off. It is what it is. We have to learn to be able to turn that off when it comes to other nations of people. particularly people who are openly currently destroying our groups of people, whether it be willingly that these people who are destroyed for lack of knowledge themselves partaking in their own detriment. The fact that another group of people would partake in destroying a lost group of people intentionally, willingly, goes to show that they could care less about us. So again, they're killing us with these products that they sell us, these perms and relaxers, this poor food, this diet that they themselves, many people know that the Asian group of people wouldn't even eat the food that they selling us. So again, they're killing us slowly, but the white boy killed them immediately. And we as a race of people are supposed to have empathy. We're supposed to have concern. A certain level of concern is a certain level of alignment. I mean, to be concerned with something means that you, to an extent, are aligning yourself with that group of people in an emotional sense, or with whatever it is that you're holding that concern for. So you're becoming one in the emotional sense against another group of people that you too have shorted you, or who have robbed you or raped you. So that is an alignment. My thing is, do I think that we as Black people, and I mean, we can agree to disagree on this and not to go back and forth on a debate about that, and I respect your opinion. But should we align, or should we be concerned? In other words, in a lesser form, should we be concerned with Asians and their mishaps or their shortcomings with people who they went into business with to destroy us? No. It's just taking them a little bit longer to kill us than it did for the white boy to go in and kill them.
Well, I'm gonna tell you that we killing each other. So, you know, they killing each other. We killing each other. White folk killing each other. We killing each other every day. And you know, more than likely, we're gonna go into extinction anyway. More than likely. You know, we don't have any resources, and if we can't continue like this we can't continue like this.
Right. With
no resources, somebody else controlling all the resources, we're going to probably go into extinction anyway as a group in this country. Okay. So, I respect your opinion. You know, you have every right to feel the way you feel. Me personally, I don't know how to turn off my humanity. I don't know how. I don't know how to turn off my humanity. Now, this is not to say that I'm going to allow motherfuckers to, you know, kill me outright. Like, you know, unless you got a gun to my head and I ain't got no weapon, you know, I ain't got no choice. It's not to say that I'm just gonna stand there, you know, and be hollering, Jesus save me and all that kind of stuff while you got a gun to my head. No, this is not to say that I'm going to allow people to mistreat me just because I have empathy for others. It's not to say that I'm going to forgive my enemies and bless those who curse me and do good to those who hate me, because that was what I was raised with. I was raised in the church. I was raised to love my enemies. Okay, that's my background, Christianity. I was raised to love those who treat me bad and to pray for those who use me and persecute me. You know, but I have to disagree that I'm aligning myself emotionally with anybody by showing empathy for others. I can't turn off empathy. I can't turn off my humanity just because I have these feelings of empathy when I see other people suffering. Okay, when I see others besides me suffering in the world, I can't turn that off. I can't. I had empathy for the European Jews who suffered during the Holocaust. I have empathy for them. I have empathy for the Africans who suffered during our Holocaust, the African Holocaust. And I that was the original title for my first book, African Holocaust in the New World. Before I changed it to God is on Trial, How Religion Keeps Humanity Under Mind Control and Fear. But, you know, I wrote about the European Jews during World War II, who suffered under Adolf Hitler, and how God allowed Adolf Hitler to exterminate them. I wrote about that in my book. I wrote about the African Holocaust. I wrote about the Native American Holocaust. I can't turn off empathy when I see other people suffering like we have suffered as a group, like my ancestors have suffered. I can't do that. And if that means I'm aligning myself, which I feel like I'm not, but I'm just saying, if that means to you, I'm aligning myself emotionally with the Asian Americans, you know, well, that's your opinion, but I don't see it that way. I don't see myself aligning myself emotionally just because I have empathy for other people who are suffering around the world, not just us over here in this country, but around the world, people are suffering everywhere. Okay, because white supremacy, pink supremacy, whatever you want to call it, is everywhere. It's global, you know, it's global. Okay. I'm done.
Okay. Just wanted to put a few comments up there, catch up with the comments. I actually love not having thousands and thousands of people on my board, because we can be more, you know, you can actually interact with people and talk to people. You know, all that stuff going on the chat room all fast. You can't, you know, you really can't talk to nobody. But yeah, I do love Sister Deity. I don't know, she's having technical difficulties. I think she dropped off. Here she comes. She come back again. Let me bring her back on. I want to say to Sister Deity, I love Sister Deity's fire. I love how she talk. She's a smooth criminal. Dun, 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 dun. She knows, I love that. I keep telling her all the time, if she had a YouTube channel, she would do good. But she's not into that. That's all right, because this is your house. You can come here anytime when I'm not asleep. You come here and throw down. I want to say to people that the views expressed right now is not necessarily my view. That's what I want to say. Not necessarily my views. I'm not saying that I don't agree. Not necessarily my view. Y'all know how that road go. Because I don't want to get caught up. Oh, I didn't say that. That was Sister Nova. You know, I want to get the coward way out. Sister Nova said that. I didn't say that. That Deity said that. You know, the coward way out. Well, what you bring them on your panel for then? You don't agree with what they talking about. You know, it kills me with that. The views expressed is not necessary. What the hell you got them on here for then like that, you know? But, you know, I think that's sort of cowardly, like, because apparently, because most people, if you don't agree with them, you won't have them on your panel or do nothing at all. I'm an example of that. No, Negro, you're not coming here on my platform. No, I'm not even going to say the views expressed. I do not want you. I do not like you. You know, that type of thing. But Brother Talib is on speakerphone, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to Brother Talib. He said his thing, and unless somebody else come, I'll go ahead and do my turn. But right now, let's give a round of applause for Soul Brother Talib.
Woo-hoo!
Yes, thanks family for having me on this panel tonight, you know, and I just got from a doctor's appointment, and I just want to start off with saying that my health condition, as far as my you know, blood is kind of high right now. My blood pressure is kind of high right now, and it's out of control, and so, you know, y'all could just hope I don't have a heart attack or something, you know, but I'm dealing with it right now. I'm getting on top of things.
All right.
But I just want to say that, you know, in reference to this topic here, as far as this, you know, I live here in Nebraska amongst quite a bit of Asians, Vietnamese mainly, and of course some Chinese here and there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I see their attitude toward black people, definitely. And I also understand that they have been, you know, briefed on us as black Americans before once they entered upon within these shores of the United States. You know, because for a while, and I still sometimes go to this channel, it's called Black Experience Japan, and it deals with black expats who have left here, who left other countries in the diaspora and went over to Japan or other parts of Europe as expats, right? But, and they get treated differently over there by them, they claim. Okay, but as far as the Asians here in America are concerned, you know, I have to say that, you know, they just like any other immigrant who come over here and, you know, they given the ultimatum, either you could be the nigger or you can help us keep our foot on the nigger's neck so you won't be the nigger. And it ain't no different with them, you know what I'm saying, than any other immigrant, irregardless of what country or what part of the world that immigrant is from. You know what I'm saying? And growing up in Detroit, I saw this quite a bit with the Koreans. And the only time I ever seen an Asian showing a black person love is when a friend of mine named Chester Flemings worked for them for over 20 years and gave them. And then once they decided they wanted to let the business go, they handed it over to him because of his loyalty to him. Unfortunately, he didn't hold on long because he had got killed. So he did not hold on long to that business because his life was, he was excommunicated from this life, you know, and unfortunately, in a tragic way that it happened. But that's the only time I ever, you know, knew of Asians that showed black people love. And maybe one other time too, of course, okay. But, you know, I have known no other times that black people were ever shown that much love by Asians. You know what I'm saying? For them to care for our economic well-being, our financial well-being, or our well-being in general as a group of people. Now, the only way I ever looked at an Asian in terms, basically, of them having some type of kind of solidarity toward black people is when the Viet Congs would greet the black soldiers in Vietnam as brothers and tell them, look, this is not your fight. You know what I'm saying? Go home. You're fighting the white man's fight. You know, that type of stuff. And as we saw, some of the black soldiers even stayed over there in Vietnam and are known as POWs, and still to this day, from my understanding, some still exist over there as POWs and have moved on with their lives and created families over there in that part of the world. But that don't negate the fact that that relationship with the Asian in general and the Asian between the Asian and blacks in America is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
And no, we should not align with the Asians, even in regards to that. You know what I'm saying? No, we should not, especially if they coming over here and they're coming in our community and they're taking from us and not giving back to us. No, we should not align with them at all. No way in any fashion form, just like we should not align with the Hispanics, just like we should not align with the Africans who also come in our community and take away and don't give back. And then you get these Pan-African pricks that want to holler about going back to Africa. Let's go to Africa, or I'm over here in Ghana, or I'm in Senegal with doing this and doing that. Okay, but you failing to realize, just like they robbing your ass in America and your own black communities, you go over there, they gonna do the same thing to you. because they see dollar signs anyway.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? And also, you're the N-word maybe in another language. Like, it's that word that Wesley Snipes got offended by and knocked that Nigerian out of
Akata.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the word. That's the word the Africans use for akata.
Yeah, that type of situation, you know. So yeah, you know, we you know what I'm saying? We alone, like as someone like John Henry Clark, I allegedly heard stated that we have no friends, and that's true. We definitely have no friends at all. We don't have no friends in this matter, and we might as well consider ourselves as lone sheep wolves in the pack, because we don't have no friends at all. Maybe it was a time even before and when I was in the so-called pro-black conscious community, the closest friends I thought we may have had, especially coming from the Hispanic community, was like the Puerto Ricans. We don't even got friends among them. Come to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Although they have been considered treated equal in certain ways as we have, and plus because of the fact they are considered Americans and don't have their own country. You see what I'm saying? You know, it's a saying in itself that basically they're niggas, but in a different culture, but they're still niggas in America, but under a different cultural title. You see what I'm saying? Because they're not even independent like the rest of the other Hispanics are, like the Cubans and Dominicans. They still are a U.S. protectorate territory or colony. That's why Donald Trump was able to handle them the way he handled them. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, but neither here nor less, they're not even our friends. So we have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a clear out known fact. And you know, I must say that you know, we have to understand and realize that you know, we either fight, stand up, stop being punks and cowards, and take our freedom, take our reparations, and don't look for no help from no one but ourselves and each other. I don't know what this is going to take to push black people to that point, but something got to before we go extinct, like I just heard someone say it, before we get completely exterminated, like those ancient Native Americans before us did. You see what I'm saying? Because we won't be the first person that happened to, or the first group that happened to, and we won't be the last. There's many groups of ethnicities throughout the planet Earth that's getting exterminated every day. That was even getting exterminated since we was put into slavery. You see what I'm saying? And have been in this bondage for over 400 years. It's been many tribes and groups around the world that have gotten completely wiped off this earth since then. So it ain't like it can't happen to us. You know what I'm saying? And we have to understand and wake up and realize that and see that. You know, and stop playing. You know, the role of waiting for somebody to come join us. Ain't nobody gonna join us. And as far as them Asians, you know, yes, I agree with Sister Noble. Should nobody be getting attacked? No, regardless of what your race is, should no one have to suffer the fact that they could possibly get killed, you know, at a drop of a dime, or just because somebody don't like who they are because of their race or ethnicity, whatever. No human deserve that. Especially on a random basis, where somebody just come out the woodworks and just start shooting up some people, was shooting up crap. You know what I'm saying? That's just uncalled for, and I don't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but my thing is this: is that still don't mean that the fact stand that we cannot unite with other people, especially when they won't unite with us,
mm-hmm.
nor align themselves with us, as you would say, you know. And I have to also say too that we have to realize and know that we cannot, invest in helping these people in their struggles, whether they're the Palestinians, whether they're the Cubans, whether they're the Jamaicans, the Haitians, which I've seen a lot of our so-called Black American leadership participate in when it came to Haitian issues, with Haitians was fighting to get over into this country from Haiti when the Cubans were coming over here or whatever, or when, you know what I'm saying, when it was a situation where, you know, the Sudanese and Darfur Sudan were being oppressed as slaves and all that. The hell with them, because when them people get over here, they don't give a damn about us. Regardless of how we try to help them in their struggle, cause, or plight, they don't care nothing about us. And they show you that the minute they get off that plane or boat over here on U.S. soil. So we got to always keep that in mind. And we got to keep our leaders held accountable. Like, look, the people's concern is not us once they get over here. So we should not let their concern, our concern as a people, be their concern. You see what I'm saying? And it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? And I wish that, you know, that if we had any real so-called Black leadership among us, that they could have put a stop to that so-called clause they put in that Civil Rights Act called minority. You see what I'm saying? Because under that title, that gives them the way to benefit off our struggle. You see what I'm saying? And if we had any real Black leadership, it should have stopped that, you know? It should have definitely stopped that, period. You know, it shouldn't have ever even been allowed. That clause shouldn't have ever even been allowed to get in there, you know? Period. You know? So that clause shouldn't have ever been allowed to, you know what I'm saying, get in there at all. You know, it shouldn't have never been allowed to get in there because of the fact that it was aimed to benefit them. You see what I'm saying? Once they put that clause in there, that would have made them it more legal and more legit and justified for them to benefit off our struggle than what we're benefiting off as far as the Civil Rights Act go. You know? And I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it really is crazy when you think about it. You know, what we dealing with as a result of that, because that was supposed to be a benefit for us and not no one else. You know? And we should still be actually, you know what I'm saying, you know, bringing that to the attention of those in Washington, especially those who say that that reparations is not a discussion, or rather it's not up for a discussion to be put on the table, but yet you still have allowed these people to come over here to the country to benefit off of the, you know, struggles and gains that we supposed to be benefiting from the civil rights movement as indigenous Black Americans. So if you're not going to give us reparations, at least let us maintain that little bit and benefit off of that. and a lot of other people to benefit off of that.
They ain't finna give us no reparation, brother.
Hello, say that again.
They ain't finna give us no reparations, brother.
I realize that. I know that. I already understand that. All I'm just saying is that if they not gonna give us no reparations, at least don't let them other immigrants benefit off of what we supposed to benefit off of, as far as the Civil Rights Acts.
They want to undermine us by bringing in all these illegal. Well, they want to undermine us by bringing on all these immigrants into the country. Yeah.
All I'm saying was this: is that don't let them benefit off of our, struggles that our people set up, fought and died for, got lynched for. You see what I'm saying? Don't let them son of a bitches come over here and benefit off of our struggle. If we can't benefit off it, then they shouldn't be able to benefit off it. That's what I'm basically saying. Because of the fact that they ancestors was not in over 400 years of slavery in this country. They ancestors wasn't getting lynched or getting starved or fire home sick, don't know. You see what I'm saying? Or getting lynched because some white pink trash said that a black man raped her. Or blew a kiss at her like Emmett Till or somebody. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So if we cannot even benefit, whether we can or not benefit off of the civil rights, they shouldn't be able to benefit off it on our account. That's what I'm saying. And since you say that they should not align with us, that's one way that they should not align with us. They shouldn't be benefiting nothing off of what we've done, as far as our blood, sweat, and tears as a people in this country. And the thing about that is that I will also say that, hey, look, and I don't give a damn if the Puerto Ricans is considered American. They're not us. They're not dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. Just like the people from Guam, who's from that territory that's considered a U.S. territory. They're not descendants of slaves either, born in America. Also, who else? Them Hawaiians. They're not descendants of slaves born in America. So shouldn't none of them, not even those, what's also that island, Guam and that other Asian Pacific, the American Samoan Islands. They would be considered as minorities where they should be even benefiting off our civil rights struggle, off the backs of our ancestors' civil rights struggle. You see what I'm saying? Because they are not even dark-skinned descendants of slaves born in America. Okay? So should none of them people, period, even if they are from lands that's considered as U.S. protectorates, unlike even the ones that are from foreign lands that are not considered under U.S. jurisdiction, should not, and I repeat again, should not benefit off our ancestors' civil rights struggle, especially if we can't. And it's just that plain simple. And that's where my concern definitely comes in at, when it comes down to that part, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, we ain't got nothing. We destitute. We ain't got nothing. Matter of fact, we should be running them suckers up out our neighborhoods. And Sister Nova, I know there's plenty of Koreans down there in the hoods in Atlanta that's operating 24 hours out of storefront businesses and gas stations, just like the Mavs in my hometown in Detroit is. Just, you know, just like I'm sure there is in Sister Ingrid's hometown in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? We should be running them suckers up out of our communities every day. You know what I'm saying? We should be running them up out of the community every day. Making sure they don't even have. Look, if you ain't gonna get no money or put nothing back into the community, pack your shit up and go. Excuse my French, but that's exactly what it is. Pack your stuff up and go. Because they not finna let us come in their communities and shack up and run no businesses so we can economically feed ourselves and our communities. So we can't eat, they can't eat. And it's just that simple. Tell them to go run to the white folks that gave them the visas to come to this country. If they want to eat off of somebody, go eat off of them. We'll see definitely how that pan out. You know? They can't eat off of us. And that's how we got to start treating this situation. We are left for the wolves to be eaten alive, like I've been saying in other podcasts prior to this one. And that's what I meant. And that's why I stand on what I stand on, because it is exactly what it is on that note. And before I get tongue-tied, I'm going to rest the mic. Thanks for letting me speak for now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great speak. Okay. Hold on a second here. All right. Well, let me put my little 2 cents in this conversation. And I hope everybody's doing well. And I definitely appreciate the conversation, and we have a nice little audience listening. We have a nice little activity in the chat room. So this is a conversation that needs to be had, and that's what we're doing tonight. Well, what is my spin? How do I look at this? Now, personally, my experience with Asian people, my personal experience with Asian people, I haven't had a bad experience with them at all, at no time. Their businesses, how I've been treated, I cannot say and come before you and say, I've been on this planet going on 60 years. And I have not known a lot of Asian people. Matter of fact, to be quite honestly, I can't really hardly tell the difference. I don't know who is who really, from the Korean to the Filipino, I don't know. I can't really. Now I do. The Chinese people are more lighter, so I recognize them. I was really into martial arts in the early 80s. And that was before videotapes and all like that. I used to get my magazines and information. And what inspired many of us to be interested in martial arts was Bruce Lee. I use his image on this video. Bruce Lee. And because of Bruce Lee, that's why many in this country and around the world became interested in martial arts. That what made me become interested in martial arts. And when I was growing up, and Sister Ingrid is in the chat room, she might know a little something, because we grew up in the same type of time frame. When I was growing up, in my neighborhood, Bruce Lee was considered an Asian black man. He was one of us in my neighborhood. And it goes back to what Sister Nova was talking about. With us, we don't see all this color. We only see humanity. That's just part of us. But also at the same time, since the deity is also correct, sometimes in certain situations, we got to cut it off. We got to cut it off because certain folks don't like you. So, you know, you want to get with me, I got to get with you. I can't be, you know, you want to kill my babies, my children, you want to take food out my mouth, then we got to get busy. It's simple as that. So the humanity thing is cut off. But I used to go to a Chinese store, and y'all see that Chinese jacket that I wear a lot of time on my videos. That jacket old as hell. That's 1986. 1986. And see, you can't tell on the video. It's too damn small. 1986. I'm much bigger now. You know, but you can't tell on video. It look like it fit on video. And no, it don't fit. It's 12, you know. I had that jacket ever since 1986. And I used to go back and forth to this Chinese family who was selling martial arts goods. The books about Bruce Lee and other martial arts stuff and the weapons and everything. I had a nice relationship with them. Of course, I'm spending money with them, but I never had no problem. They even gave me free stuff. And they knew a little, you know, there's a rumor that all Chinese people, Asians, know martial arts. No, they don't. But the family in this particular Chinese shop, he showed me how to use the blow dart. He showed me how to put poison on the blow dart. He showed me different things. So, you know, free of charge. Show me how to use the sword properly. We had a good relationship. And the color thing never came up in our conversation. You're a black man and you Chinese. That never even came up in our conversation. We had a bond because of our love for martial arts. That's where it was. Even when I went to the Chinese joint, you know, I was eating Chinese food, and I still like Chinese food, whatever. I never had problems at none of these establishments. Me personally, this is my own personal experience. I never had a problem with Asian people. Never. In stores, out in the public somewhere, I've just never had a problem. But I do know that we as a people in some areas, we do. Now, my thing, I really can't talk about this issue in the manner that I would like to, because I really don't know. I really don't know. And there are those with black faces, because they have an agenda, that will lie on other folks. They will lie. You think because, oh, they black, they telling me the truth, and no. Black folks, these Negroes will lie to you about other people to fit their agenda, their narrative. They will lie to you. There's a brother that I've known this man for at least 7 years. Do you know he fell out with me because I feel more closer to Bruce Lee than Jim Kelly or some African martial artist. Bruce Lee was the reason why I was even interested in it. I like Jim Kelly. Matter of fact, Bruce Lee was the one that brought Jim Kelly on board for Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee was the one that gave Jim Kelly the opportunity to get into martial arts movies. You just ignore that. Bruce Lee was the one that made everybody, the world, fall in love with martial arts in the movies, period. Well, the Africans did it first. They always said, black folks do everything first. So the Africans do everything first, whatever. That may be true. But it was Bruce Lee that brought this here. And it wasn't easy for him. He was rejected in this country. The best thing Bruce Lee done in America was the Green Hornet. And that lasted, I believe, for only 1 season. He was rejected. He had little baby parts. Bruce Lee became a superstar, didn't become a superstar till he went back home and his people gave him an opportunity. That's when he blew up. The Big Boss blew up, his first film. Then the Peckerwood, after he became successful, come on back to America. This your home too, Bruce. Now they want him. But he had to go back home. Him and his wife and family, they was almost starving here. He couldn't get no role because he did not want to play the traditional, stereotypical Chinese person with the ponytail in the back. He didn't want to play that crap. Well, they said, you need to go home or somewhere. We ain't interested. Then after he blew up in Asia, all of a sudden, we love Bruce Lee. He didn't have it hard. Bruce Lee went against a lot of the things of his own people because he trained black folks. You shouldn't be training them. See, this is my problem. This is my problem. We get in these situations and we want to act like the people that oppress us. They hate everybody. They nasty and profane. And we do the same thing. And we think that's a good thing. I hate everybody. It's all about me. We got the same type of attitude that they do. We cannot understand and cannot see the humanity in other people. And that's a fault of yours. You're gonna continue to suffer a long time because we're not in this world alone. There are people in this world that will help you. I am a prime example. Black people did not help me get out of my incarceration for 10 years. Matter of fact, black people made mockery of me when I was laying up in that nut house. And they wrote stuff in my chart to make me look really, really bad so they could justify me being locked up. That's what the black people, there was a Negro judge who was married to a Caucasian woman, but there was a Negro judge. Out of all the judges I dealt with, they was all Caucasian. The only one who was willing to sign, shoot him in the ass order was this black man, the one that you love, the one that you claim that you gonna unite with. He's your only friend. With friends like that, I don't need no enemies. We know everybody black ain't your damn friend either. Ain't no Asian made no threats against me on YouTube, but black folks have. Not one Asian come on my board and said, nigga, I'm gonna kill you. But the black folks that you love, some of them even got to the point, I'll come to your house and beat your ass. Yo, the black people that you love, we only have one friend. Well, if these are your friends, we are in bad shape. Because ain't no Asian never threatened my life. I don't have enough fingers to count how many Negroes have threatened my life, beat me up, lie on me, cheat, slander my name, steal from me. I don't have enough fingers. You have to look at people for who they are. Like Dr. King said, the content of their character and who they are. You got to be able to look beyond them. And you got to understand that you've been brainwashed. These people, everybody has been tricked. You believe in all these narratives that these people say. Because the black power folks have a narrative and agenda too. There's an article, and it's in the chat room. It's an article from Time Magazine that gives us a brief breakdown about the history of Asians and black people in this country. And I haven't had a time to really study that article and see what's going on. But just like Brother Taalik also said, we just ignore the fact, like during the Vietnam War, those people told those black soldiers, you need to get the hell out of here. This is not your fight. And these Negroes was killing them. Sit there by the white man. Now check this out. My uncle told me he was in the Vietnam War. and he got blew up. A bomb came in and blew up a tractor and burned him like 80% of his body. They didn't think he was gonna survive. And they took him into the medical camp. And he said he was laying there, he all burned up, he can't do nothing. He told me those Vietnamese men, them soldiers, used to come into the camp all the time, stealing supply. Did not bother him at all. Didn't try to kill him. They just came in, stole what they needed to steal, and crept on out. Why didn't he just, he's the enemy, why didn't he just kill him? He's laying up there, go ahead and take him out of his misery. They didn't do that. We just ignore the fact that a lot of our people are super ignorant. Like they say, ghetto, silly ass people. They go into these restaurants, they go into these establishments, and they get ghetto and silly, doing dumbass stuff. And you know this. And you want to jump on, I don't jump on the side of wrong. A lot of these women, ghetto and silly, mess with these Koreans, and these people react. What do you expect them to do? Like this one instance, and they even admit that these women didn't pay these people their money. They got whatever they want to, and they just gonna run out or whatever, you know, being silly. And they kick their ass. You do the same thing. But our heads is filled up with this blackity white and the black man, and we got all that. You're not thinking and looking at things from a just point of view, a fair point of view. None of my family I've ever heard them have a problem with Asian. I've never heard it. None of my family. And we've been around on this earth at least 50-some years. And out of the whole 50 years, not only me, and they lived in our community in the 70s. Never had no problem with Asian people, never. And they might be selling dog. That's some good tasting dog. There's some good tasting cat. And in the reality of it, that's what they eat or whatever. Our food supplies are all screwed up anyway. So what? People all around the world, some people on the earth eat cat every day. No big deal. They eat rats. They eat monkeys, tarantulas, termites. So what? And before it's said and done, before you starve, you're going to eat you a cat, rat, and a dog with your self-righteous ass. What I'm not going to eat. When you starving, you be shocked what you willing to eat. And plus, once you get that bad boy and slice it up and throw some peppers in there, some onions, and some whatever, you ain't going to trip off of it no more. That's their culture. Why don't you fry your own damn rice and put what you want in it? Open up your own business. Why you got to wait on them? What's taking so damn long? They providing a service. If all these people went out of your neighborhood, your ass would be dry. You would have nothing because you have nothing. And you don't even support your own. We the only friends we got. But you won't support your own. If they didn't have the gas stations, if they didn't open up these little restaurants or whatever, let them move out. Well, they said, well, you Negroes say you don't want us there. We moving out. Your ass will be dry. You won't have no gas. You won't have no weave. You won't have nothing. Nothing. They providing the service because you can't provide the service yourself. So they say, hey, we go in here and fill the void. They're not doing it. And look at us when we do get a business. We overcharge. And some of us are nasty too to our customers. I have experienced that with Negroes. Here I am. I'm poor, broke, and hungry. I save my little dollars. And I want to go to a black car dealership. The sucker gonna sell me a car that he know was in a flood. The car looked beautiful on the outside. But it was in a flood. You open up the hood, there's rust and stuff where it shouldn't be. It was in a flood. And they knew it was in a flood. It was on the title. Salvage vehicle. But that's all right. You want to justify our crap. luckily, always pay, if you can, always pay with a check or a credit card. Because that's the easiest way to get your money. Because with a check, you can put a stop. They don't get your money when they give you some bull crap. On a credit card, you let MasterCard and Visa, you tell them, don't pay them, and let them fight that out with the merchant. We sit around here acting like we holy and righteous. We have to understand, and a lot of us are historical buffs, so you claim. What was the relationship between dark-skinned people and Asians if you took the Caucasian out of the equation? What was that relationship? There was none. Didn't really have too much contact with one another. We are brought together by unnatural circumstance. So we're going to get, so of course, abnormal interaction is going to happen, y'all.
Excuse me, Brother Taalik. I didn't really mean to cut you off, and I don't like to do that. But I just wanted to interject something. I totally concur with what you're saying on that note, and I do. And you know, I've had experiences, positive experiences with Asians in my life, as well as, and also the fact that when I was around a bunch of them up in Seattle, Washington, where there's a majority of them that is a community, I didn't even have no problems with them there. And nor did I have any problems with the Asians that was that's located in the Chinatown section of New York City, you know. So I never really had considered, you know, I can't never say I had any, you know, super bad experience with them Asians like that, you know. And also too, like I iterated earlier, that you know, if you go over there to them countries in Asia, even like Japan, not China, but I'm saying Japan or Vietnam, you know what I'm saying, where a lot of our people are, you know, immigrants called Black American expats. They say they get treated equally like hell by them Asians. So I don't know what to believe, if they are actually against us or not. Right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just got to, you might have to go to their countries and find out, like our fellow brothers and sisters who went over there, expats found out, you know. But with that, continue, brother.
Yes, sir. I heard somebody say they come into our neighborhood and they wouldn't allow us to come into their neighborhood and open up a business. So my first question is, who do you know that went into their neighborhood to open up a business? Who do you know? What Negro that you know said, for whatever reason, I want to go to Chinatown and open up a Negro business. They like soul food. Who is this person? When did this happen? How do you know they won't allow? Because contrary to popular belief, some of these people actually do love soul food. Why would they have a problem with you coming in and opening up a soul food business? Why would they?
Well, let me say this. I don't know much about the soul food business and, you know, actually going into their neighborhoods and opening up businesses in that regard. But I do know that a lot of Black women who try to get into the, if not particularly just selling hair, but when they try to get into the product, the selling hair products, like opening up a not just a nail salon, that too, but opening up a hair beauty supply store. Not hair beauty supply store, but a beauty supply store. The vendors are usually Asian, and they do keep Black people out of those types of situations. Again, I think that a lot of the times we do speak on our individual experiences, and I've oftentimes said that I've never been called a nigger by white people. I've never had the same experiences with white people that some Black people have had. I've never had bad police incidences with white police officers. That doesn't mean that talking about collectively and racially that what they have done does not exist. It's not about me individually, but what ends up happening is because racially we have no power, we tend to then lean on our own personal experiences as oh, well, it's something that nigger did, not something that the Asian people are actually doing, because there's a discriminatory bias that's in the situation or in the equation. And then what ends up happening is that if we're angry with Black people who may have a coon mentality or who may have done us wrong, again, individually, we are no different than those same people, because we start to take on their ways of hating our own kind and being dismissive to the oppression of our own kind. So yeah, there are fucked up Black people, just like there are fucked up people of every race, true enough. However, though, we can't act like racism and racial unity and racial attacks are not real. People are going to align with their race. They may treat you nice individually, but when it comes to their racial group and the survival, which is the self-preservation of their race, I think, again, because Black people don't have that, they tend to move away from that understanding, because that is not ingrained in the Black person in an everyday sense. It's not ingrained in a Black person to have racial pride. And that comes from, one, us not knowing who we are, and then two, when we do become aware of who we are and we get into organizations, which I don't think that anybody should do, but people do so by default or do so by lack of knowledge. But when people get into these organizations with other, what they believe to be like-minded Black people, and they get let down, then they too become just as negative towards Black people in the same way as they say that the Black people were negative towards them. So it's a continuous cycle of, one against the other for whatever reason or another. However, you're against the other Black person, however that may be, for whatever reason it may be. So when I'm talking about Blackness, I'm not speaking from it from an individual standpoint, because I do understand that racially speaking, when a group is going to attack a racial group, I am a part of that racial group, whether I like those people in that racial group or this individual person in that racial group, I would get attacked. That's just what it is. And so when you become aware of systematic situations, like for me, I became aware, like moving around in different parts of the world, I've seen where Mexicans, are going into Black neighborhoods, particularly in parts of Georgia. I've seen where Mexicans go into these Black neighborhoods and they're able to become managers in these stores, or particularly in these Metro PCS or mobile stores. They're able to run that in Black neighborhoods. And this goes back to the point of what I think it was Angel or somebody was saying in regards to, how they're able to come into or set up shop in our areas or whatever the case may be, and we can't go in theirs. Well, anyway, they come into our areas, and because Black people are so individualistic, because there is no racial pride, most Black people don't coagulate together because of racial pride. They do so because of poverty. They don't see when these people come into their neighborhoods as a negative and these people are taking over. All these folks got to do is smile, talk with a little slang, make you feel like you are the exceptional nigga. And then all of a sudden you start looking at every other Black person as though, they're the ones doing bad. Again, my points are never individual. I may not have had an extreme negative situation with an Asian. However, that doesn't mean that racially speaking, that therefore their race and therefore they're trying to exterminate minds. And if I'm a part of that, then that means that I would be exterminated. And then to kind of piggyback on your point, Angel, when you said that you haven't had negative experiences with Asians, well, let's just be very clear. Not to say that, again, it is your marginalized experience as one person, but to give credence to why that may be, well, the Black man doesn't have, and not in all instances, because there have been Black men who have had reported negative experiences with Asian people. In America, there has been people who have had going to the guy's point on the phone on your end. There have been people, Black people in particular, and biracial Asians who are also of African descent, specifically directly African diaspora descent, where they get treated negative in these Asian countries. I mean, poorly. I mean, it's videos where they get looked at crazy, they get called monkeys, they get stared at, all type of stuff. But the reason why, going back to the point, the reason why you may not get or have had such a negative experience is because Black men in general don't have much of a close contact with Asians, because Asians usually deal with the beauty industry, which affects Black women. And so naturally, if there's going to be a negative attack that's given in a majorative, it's going to be towards Black women. Now, if a Black man separates himself from Black women, then naturally he's not going to see that as a detriment to his emotional well-being or to his experience when it comes to those groups of people. However, though, if you don't see yourself as different from those people, you naturally, or the Black people, you would naturally understand that it's a racial attack. It's not an individual attack. And therefore you too, even though if you're not in those situations, even though if you're not of that particular gender, you're going to feel some type of way. But again, I think a lot of the times people speak from their own personal experiences and their negative experiences with Black people. On one end, we talk about, and going to Sister Noble's point, on one end, you talk about the pink people and this and this and that. Well, if you're that dismissive towards, or if you have that much respect for, or that much, I not respect, the word that you used was, what did you say?
Concern.
If you have that much concern, if you have that much, if you have that much concern,
the word respect.
I want you to hold your point.
I never use the word respect.
I said concern. That's why I asked you what was the word. That's why I was asking.
Let me say this. I got to say this. Okay. You speak about racial pride, and that when you said that, I started looking sideways.
Well, in what context? In what context, though?
Okay. Let me finish what I'm saying. You speak of racial pride. Okay.
In what context? Because I didn't even finish my point, but in what context did I say racial pride?
Okay. I'm trying to get to it, but go ahead. Go ahead and finish your point.
You hold your point. I'm going to finish what I need to say. I sat back in the cut. I didn't say nothing at all. Everybody had to say. I don't know what it is about me. I always get cut off. I always get cut. I always get interrupted. Let me say what I need to say, and I'm done. Okay. Just hold your point. If you can't hold your point, remember, like I do, I got a piece of paper. I jot down my comments so I can remember. So I can I can make my point. See, it threw me off. It threw me off. But see, that's why I take my little notes so I can remember what my point is. I don't know what it is about me. Folks don't like me to talk. They always gonna gotta cut me off. Always. But that's neither here or there. Look. I can respond to what Sister Deity just said. It's not about my personal experience. I told you about my uncle. That's not my personal experience. I told you about my family. That's not my personal experience. I told you about my community. That's not my personal experience. I understand that Negroes are stupid and do dumb things. That's not my personal experience. They go in and mess with folks and do dumb things. That's not I have nothing to do with that. And people react. Now, if you are told a stereotype, or there's a stereotype in your mind, and it actually happened to you, like getting robbed or getting beat up by these particular people, and you was warned, and that's the stereotype, what you expect these people to do? They don't know you. They are giving us a stereotype, and then you make it real with your behaviors. Now, I'm not going to get on board nobody's train and you wrong because you Black. I don't do that no more. I've done that since I was a little boy. Oh, you Black, and Black this and the black power, all that stuff. I've been through that. That might be exciting to you, all this Black stuff and the blackity black. Well, why ain't you united? You're saying the same stuff, doing the same thing that you was doing when I was a little boy. And you ain't united yet. What's taking so damn long? What's taking so long? You love each other so much. We keep talking about because we don't have no Black love. I'm going to be 60 years old. Where's the Black love? It takes 60. It's 60 years, and there's no black love. Still saying the same crap that I was listening to when I was a little itty bitty boy. You still talk black, but really don't like black. I can tell you don't like black because when you see these people, they marry a light-skinned black person first. You don't see them run around looking for really dark-skinned people like myself and Sister Rashida. Because in your mind, that's where you really are. You're not really into blackness like that. That's false. And you can say whatever you want to say out of your mouth. I'm looking at your actions. It's not my personal experience. I'm talking about the actions here. And I'm not talking about black folks because of their skin color. I'm telling you what they did because of who they was. Just so happened they was black folks, and they didn't. We want to talk about the greatness of black folk. These Negroes ain't with you like that. Here, this is the 3rd year anniversary of the Mississippi campaign. Where's all this black love or that? These people don't even want me on their platform at all, period. The ones who black and they love black folks. They'd rather threaten my life than let me come on their platform and talk about the Mississippi campaign. How does that hurt you? It does not. There is no love. Where's this love that you're talking about? 60-some years, I ain't never seen it. They love your money. Will you donate to my PayPal? Will you donate to my Cash App? Will you donate to my GoFundMe? Oh, they love your money. They ain't no different than the people that you're talking about. They only thing they want is your damn money. And they use blackness to get it out your pocket and give you nothing. And give you nothing for the whole 60 years that I've been on this planet, in this struggle. We've got nothing. But the leaders, they riding in fancy cars. They living a good life. And we still making excuses for failure. And we're stupid in our thinking. Even the Peckerwood, the United States of America has the greatest military on the planet. They have allies. Now, if they have the strongest military on the planet and they have allies, what do it look like you sitting around here and you're going to depend on black folks and you don't have any allies? You got everybody. There's nothing wrong with having allies, associates. You don't think the United States actually love these people they allied to? It's not about love. It's about what they can do for me. The benefit. It's not about I love Asians. It's not about I love Africans. It's about me. What can I do? The reason why I'm talking to you is not because I love these people. They helped me get out of my incarceration. It ain't about loving them. They was my ally in the struggle to get what I want. I wanted to get out of that place, and I got out because I got allies. You're going to sit in this place and keep being a Negro for the next 60 years because you refuse to think differently. You think rigid in your mind. Our minds filled up with all this blackity black fantasy fictional garbage. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Wait, no. You think you're just going to get black folks to do something. These black people will only move if others move. They're not going to move. They need a slave master. They have a sheep mentality. They're not going to move. They're not going to do anything. But if Joe Biden says something, they'll move. So if I can ally with Joe Biden can help me move them. They ain't gonna move with me saying nothing, but Joe can get them to go. Because they'll move with Joe. When Joe or Donald Trump or some white man, they'll start moving then. You ain't gonna never get them to move. And we keep talking about how much we love the black people. But where your work? Where your work to show how much you love them? What are you doing to love? They ain't gonna love you back. They didn't ask for your love because they don't love you. You don't know who you're dealing with. This mentality of the people that we're dealing with. You don't even understand. We talk about the black people. Do you really understand who you're dealing with? The black people? Do you understand them, their mentality, their mindset? And we make excuses for their bad behavior. Because they do wrong out of ignorance a lot of time. They even do it to ourselves. Just a few weeks ago, almost every other day, single mothers was getting killed by their boyfriends here. It was almost every week, every other day here in the St. Louis area. These black men, the ones that we love, they was killing these sisters, killing the girlfriends and the wives, babies included. That's what they was doing here.
God damn.
Yeah. And that was a consistent thing here in the St. Louis area for almost 2 weeks straight. The ones we love. Do you think that brother that pulled the trigger, blew his own brains out, and his wife and girlfriend, children, you think he got any love for us? We suffer trauma, and we talked about that. You're dealing with a sick people, and you think they are interacting. You don't know how these people are acting when they go overseas or wherever they go. Everybody ain't goody two-shoe. Every black man that gets shot down the street, just like Brother Taalik say all the time, sometimes they deserve to get their ass shot down. Stupid ass. Oh, he's black. Oh, but he just shut your mama down the street, just robbed her house. You don't want to talk about that. He was committing a crime. I only feel sorry for brothers and sisters like the sister in Louisville, Kentucky. She was just in her bed and messed around and got shot up by the police. But a lot of these cases, these black people that we love, that won't do a damn thing for you, they do stupid stuff all the time. I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not going to be part of that stuff. I don't live in no fantasy world, lovey-dovey-dovey. I will say this, and I'm going to pass the mic to Sister Noble because it'll be her turn. Our closing arguments, or whatever you want to call it, it's been 2 hours. I say this. I can't do that no more. All that blackity black stuff, and you want to say, might say, oh, I don't love my blackness, whatever. I have no choice. The reason why I'm here, Elijah Muhammad taught me how to love my black skin when I was a little boy. No, I don't agree with you because there's no proof. It's not real. It's not realistic in my mind. I'm not into all that blackity black Pan-African and the blackness and I'm not into that no more because it don't work. Been doing that for 50 years. And again, here's a nation, the United States of America. They have allies around the world, associates, friends, however you want to call them. They need allies, but you don't. We only have a friend in ourselves. You doomed then. Having a friend with just Negroes, it's over. You're done. Because they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna be able to do that. Not gonna be able to pull it off. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen like that. That's fantasy. That's fantasy. It's not gonna happen. Your only friend is ourselves. And you don't have nothing. You have no power. You don't even want to take control of a state. You don't want to do nothing. How are you going to accomplish this? Please tell me. Because I've been around here almost 60 years. I've been listening to this garbage since I was a little boy. The Hebrew Israelite nation, the God gonna do this, and the black power, the hotel, and all. I've been listening to this stuff. I can't take it no more. That's why I am why I am. If it was true, cool. I don't see it. Brother Taalik been in the struggle for years. He'll tell you. It ain't working. It ain't done nothing. That's not going to work. You need a new strategy, a new mindset, a new way of looking at things. That rigid way, like Brother J.T. Riley said, that rigid way of nigger, it's not working for us. And before I get accused of being a rigid way of nigger, I'm passing the mic to Sister Noble, then to Sister Deity, and I guess to Brother Taalik. And
that's a nice way to pass on, brother.
I just okay. You know, when Sister Deity said racial pride, I don't even lie. I turned sideways.
Can I make one point? I forgot. Because she was talking about the Asian and the weave thing. There's a brother, I don't know what the video is, but I saw a video. See, Asia has a connection with the United States government. And they block everybody else out of the weave business. I saw a video on this. That's the reason why it's difficult for you to get it, for people to get into the weave business. They got it locked up because they have a contract, I guess you could say, or whatever. Those Asian countries have a contract with the United States government, and they got the business locked up. That's the reason why you can't get the weave and stuff the way they do, because they got it locked up with permission by the government. Has nothing. See, you don't have no power like that. We can't lock nothing up. They are in a, see, these people have a country that backs them up, and they want them to survive. And so they got this little thing with the United States government, and they locked up the weed business. They have a country. We don't have a country to back us up. And you don't even want a state. We don't even want a state that we have to get together that could help us back us up. We don't want to do nothing. Pass the mic back. I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, when Sister Deity said racial pride, I turned my head like, yeah. I had to cut my eyes to the side. I'm like, me? Me? Not having racial pride?
Right.
Like, let me explain, okay? And, you know, Sister Angel Snubnub, he know.
Yeah.
You know. Now, I've gone through a lot with Black women on jobs. You know, I've talked about this extensively. I've talked about this for many years in videos. I've written about it in my book. You know, I've dealt with a lot of workplace harassment when it came to dealing with Black women on the job, particularly Black women who discriminated against me, okay, on the job. I've gone through a lot of workplace abuse, you know, and therefore I do have personal issues. Mm-hmm. I do have personal issues with Black people. Okay. And I also have a personal issue with this white lady named Stephanie that used to work at this law firm where I interned at back in 2016. But that's neither here or there. You know, she said the word nigger in front of me as it relates to her ex-husband, who was a Black man. Yeah, I have issues with her too. But, you know, I got a personal issue with her too. Mm-hmm. But this doesn't mean that I'm not fully aware of the collective discriminatory practices of these other groups, particularly Caucasians. Okay, this doesn't mean that Brother Angel Snubnut, Brother Taalik, Brother Talib, and I don't have racial pride, because we talk about our personal experiences in dealing with our own people. Mm-hmm. Okay, I am fully aware of systemic racism and the terrorism that Black people have experienced at the hands of the so-called Caucasian in America. And my personal experiences of dealing with workplace harassment from other Black people does not negate that fact. My experiences of living under systemic racism and the microaggressive attitudes from not only white people, but also Black males does not negate that fact. It doesn't negate the fact that Black people are still in a subservient position in this society, lacking economic power because we ain't got no damn resources. Mm-hmm. It doesn't negate the fact that we're probably gonna go into extinction. It doesn't negate that fact also. We don't control anything, not even the fucking music industry. Mm. Okay? just and talking about personal experiences with niggas. Okay, just yesterday, I'm gonna tell y'all about it. Something that happened on yesterday on my job. I experienced microaggression from an old black man, looked like he in his 80s, okay, who physically assaulted my hand. Okay, he physically assaulted my hand. He snatched money out of my hand, and in the process, he hit my hand. And at the time, I was talking to somebody on the phone when that happened, and I said, "Sir, you don't have to snatch money out of my hand like that." I mean, he physically assaulted my hand when he snatched the money out of my hand. Okay, his transaction was $3.99. He had all this change, this loose change. I counted it out. I counted it and saw he gave me significantly less than what he owed. Okay, I said, "Sir, that's not $3.99. He told me that it was. He kept trying to tell me it was, and I'm telling him, "Sir, that's not $3.99. He pulled out a $20 bill and put it on the counter. I picked it up off the counter. He then snatched the money out of my hand out of anger, hit my hand in the process. And this old nigga looked like he in his 80s, okay, acting a fool. And I said all that to say this. Yeah, I'm going to have personal issues with niggas like that. Okay? But that doesn't negate the fact that I don't have racial pride, because I'm not going around here stroking black folks' ego and telling people what they want to hear, and telling people that, just because you black, you can't do nothing wrong. It doesn't negate that fact just because I'm not going to basically coddle grown-ups. I'm not going to coddle grown-ups. Okay, so as far as this racial pride talk and all that, I don't know where that came from. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into this wrong. Okay, maybe I am reading into this wrong. But I'm gonna pass the mic.
Okay.
Who are you ready for to go next?
The mic goes to Sister Deity. Sister Deity.
Hey, so not to be to do much of a rebuttal, but I do want to just say that I didn't mention the term racial pride, although I think that based on what I said, it's very clear that I have it. So I guess that's what you heard loud and clear. But what I will say is this. Having an understanding of the negatives of your race is good and dandy. However, when the topic of the conversation is not particularly about that, yet and still you continuously bring your personal experiences rather than the reality or the strategic understanding into a situation amongst other Black people who are not doing anything towards you in a derogatory way, means that there is an inability to control your emotional state. Now, having an emotion and being emotional are two different things, although they do fall within the same category. Where Black people lack is understanding strategy and removing that emotion. That comes from a lack of being heard. That comes from a group of people who a lot of times do suffer from a certain type of mental illness, one that they may not even understand. That's post-traumatic slave syndrome or post-traumatic disorder from whatever it is that they've suffered. The inability to remove the emotional aspect from understanding strategy is something that Black people, regardless of whether you feel like you have been the abused or if you are the abuser, that is a problem that Black people tend to have. If we're not talking about the issues of Black people, particularly speaking, but we're talking about other nations and races of people, there should never be a situation where you continuously bash your own people, unless that's just your narrative. Now, Angel has his narrative, so I'm not really speaking to him. I'm just rebuttaling to what Sister Noble says. You can't have racial pride by talking positive about Asian people who do oppress Black people, yet turn back around and speak negatively on the same people that would be within the same group that you have racial pride for and speak bad about them. However, I'm not talking about Black people individually, and I keep saying that. It's not an individual thing. What I said was an understanding strategy in the art of war is that if a group of people are going at a specific group of people based on a specific thing that they have, and I have that particular thing, then I'm going to speak on the fact that I need to align myself with the group of people that have that particular thing that these other people are going at. And if I can't align myself with those groups of people because of whatever it is that they have going on, because they're blinded by self-hate or hurt, then I need to remove myself and I need to duck and hide and have knowledge of my enemy so that I don't get exterminated because they're going after people that have that particular thing, whatever that may be, metaphorically speaking. So it's not about individually speaking. I've had issues with Black women on jobs, but this is not that conversation. I've had issues in certain instances with certain types of Black men to a certain type of to a certain extent, but this is not that conversation. This was in regards to Asians. So I'm not bringing my personal experiences nor my emotional rant into a situation where we're talking about strategy. But I will say this to get back on just the overall perspective of the conversation. I enjoy having these conversations because the more aware one gets, however it is that you choose to, whatever direction you choose to go in with your awareness, whether it be north or east or south, west, whatever, there is a need that Black people have to dialogue, you know, about in certain situations, even though there's no real, and when I say real, no, I don't want to say real, even though there's no global response or there's no global positive effect that may happen because of these dialogues, it is still something that Black people need to have. Even in our disagreement, one of the things that we can agree to is that we need to hold these dialogues. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here talking, because I mean, it really does. Essentially, once we leave, we go on about our business. Now, it may do something to us in an emotional sense. So I don't want to say that it doesn't do anything per se, but it is not something that we had to actually take the time out to do. We could have went on and did other things. So I do believe that we all, regardless of our personal beliefs, as Black people, we do have to hold these types of dialogues because we live in a system where we are oppressed. However it is that you want to see it, we all feel it. It is what it is. So I appreciate you, Angel, for letting me you know, on your panel. Mm-hmm. And how many people was in the chat today, Angel?
One question. When you say I speak positive about
Asian Americans, how many people?
I think like seven in the chat room, I think, and like 11 watching.
Oh, how many people was it? How many was the most that was looking at your?
So far, 11.
Okay, because every time I come on here, for some reason, it's like, you know, your views get a little bit popping. No,
yeah. I'm just you know, my channel is busy all this, you know, all day long. I done had videos and stuff running all day long.
Oh, okay.
We got this man. We're doing pretty good.
I guess they was like, we got to see him live now.
Okay, now when you say I speak positive on the Asian Americans, what are you talking about?
Again, I did you not hear the dialogue? Did you not understand it? I spoke in clear context.
I understand everything you're saying. I'm asking
you didn't. What because you're asking me what was I talking about?
What do you mean by when you say that by me speaking positive on the Asian Americans, that I'm somehow aligning myself with the Asian American community?
I mean, you didn't hear what I said.
And I don't have racial pride.
What you didn't hear what I said?
Just clarify.
I mean, I said it.
Just clarify.
Well, okay, so I'll break it. I'll repeat it then. I'll repeat it.
Now you don't have to
Angel, I'll repeat it.
Answer my question. Just answer my question.
I'll repeat it because the answer isn't what I said, because clearly you didn't hear me or you didn't comprehend.
By you speaking on okay.
I will go ahead and repeat it, and hopefully you can get it.
By you speaking positive on the Asian Americans.
I heard that. I'll repeat it.
What do you mean by that?
I'll repeat it. Okay. I don't have a problem comprehending you, but I'll repeat what I said. and it was all in context. So unfortunately, if you take these little bits and pieces, you might misunderstand because you people hear what they want to hear. But what I was saying is that we are not holding a dialogue, particularly about the negatives or the inferiority complex of Black people. We're not. That wasn't even the point of the conversation. You can't hold and I say I exclude Angel because Angel has made it a point to where he has said he's not on that Black pride shit. And when I come on his platform, I understand that that's where he stands. And I can agree to disagree with his stance. I'm not on here to debate. I already know who I'm talking to. He's not playing.
Well, first
I don't want to say that you. Hold on, let me talk. Let me answer the question. Let me answer the question. Let me answer the question. We are two grown women. Let me answer the question. What I'm saying is that he is not playing. I'm not saying that this is what you're doing. I'm going to get to the point. But I'm laying down groundwork so that you could get it because you didn't initially. He's not playing both sides. He's saying where he stands. Now, whether a person agrees with that or not, that's their point. They can move on. What I'm saying is that a lot of the times people who are trying to find themselves, they tend to either play both sides knowingly or unknowingly. You cannot have racial pride and claim racial pride, yet and still you emotionally speak on the negatives and the illiteracies or the retardations of your race in the midst of holding a conversation about a race of people who oppress your own people, yet and still you have empathy for them and you have none or have not expressed any for your own. That is not racial pride. That is a sense of confusion. Now, the issue is not so much what you're saying. Hold on, let me talk. My name is not ma'am, but let me talk. Let me talk. I'm answering your question. Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk and I'll pass the mic. Let me talk and I'll pass the mic.
Empathy.
Let me talk and I'll pass the mic.
Go ahead
and finish. Let me talk and I'll pass the mic.
My own people. You don't know me well enough.
Remove your emotional state. Let me talk and I'll pass the mic. You asked me a question. Let me talk.
I'm not trying to find myself.
What I'm saying is,
I'm 46 years old.
What I'm saying is, that doesn't mean anything. Let me finish.
I've already found myself.
Let me finish. Because you asked me a question.
I am 46 years old.
Well, you clearly didn't want the answer.
I don't need to find myself. I've already found myself.
Well,
you got the answer.
Well, see,
I say I don't need to find myself. I've already found myself.
So you got the answer. That don't mean nothing.
I have all the answers. When did I say I have all the answers?
I said you got the answer to what the question you was asking me. Pay attention.
Okay. All right.
Well, see, in order for us to find ourselves, we have to agree with that blackness talk, the Pan-African, pro-black. And if you don't vibe on that narrative, you hate yourself. I'm soul brother number one. My people are descendants of slaves born in America. I'm just not saying I'm not into that black stuff no more. I can't do that no more. It has done nothing for me. I'm not into that. It's not taking us nowhere. And also, we have to take responsibility for our actions. I'm not gonna sit here and play fairy tales with folks, stroking their ego, all this two-shoe stuff. Our people are gods and goddesses and kings and queens and all that old fairy tale cartoon nonsense. I'm not into that. I can't do that no more. I told you, I've done that since I was a little boy. And what has it done for us? Let's pass the mic on to Brother Taalik. And Brother Taalik, take us on out.
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir, brother. In closing, I would like to just move on forward and say that I'm glad to have heard everyone that was on this panel tonight gave their opinion or their views on what we said on this panel. Out of respect and out of general perspective as well, because that's what we got to keep the panel on, and not personalize stuff. But we just got to keep it general, But however, I must say that hell as I've been through, like in the so-called struggle with other black people, and you know, and outside the struggle with other black people as well. Because I could you know, go through this for, you know, like the Native American Indians say, many moons. You know what I'm saying? Talking about what I went through with other black people. You know what I'm saying? But, hey man, look, the reality is that I still understand what situation we in and what got us here. And I'm not going to abandon my people on the ship by themselves because of my own personal issues that I may have with them. Even Sister Noble know what type of personal issues I have with black people. Okay, me and her discuss that. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not going to abandon my views. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, you know, and I've talked with you and Sister Noble in the past. And I've spoke about it on social media about, well, damn, if I don't leave America, I might as well move to one of these show enough lily white states where I won't see other Negroes. But that's, of course, that's not an option. And that's not a reality of an option because I'm running away. And like that old song used to go, you can't keep running away. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is that you know, I have to be more realistic about the situation and accepting the condition of our people and helping us to get out of this condition with every breath that's left in my body long as I'm there. I'm a 50-some-year-old man with health problems these days.
Me too.
I want to do some stuff, but I don't know how long I'm going to be able to last on this earth. And that's just the reality.
Yes, sir.
And life is too short anyway, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? I have to I have to understand and learn that I don't put other people over my people because of the way I feel about my people.
Right.
That has been a mistake of my own past as well, and I'm wrestling and I'm dealing with rectifying that type of mentality. No, and like I heard someone say, that don't make you no different than the Uncle Tom or the Coon or the Simp that go against their own people. For the external outside forces that have always oppressed us. You see what I'm saying? But my thing is that, you know, we got to learn how to understand each other also too, without arguing.
Yes, sir.
We got to learn how to communicate with each other. And that is, in fact, a problem with black people in America is that we don't know how to talk to each other.
I mean, I just think, you know, people think they know me and they don't know me. That's all. Don't nobody know me.
I got you, sister. I got you, sister.
I think people think they know me, but you really don't know me.
I got you, sister. But my thing is this, is that...
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about just in general. People think they know folks.
I understand.
You know what I mean? They think they know me, but they really don't fucking know me. You know?
I understand you clearly, sister. But we have to know how to be more civil with each other. And if we can't be civil with each other, then like someone what's that brother name?
Dr. Neely Fuller.
Yeah, so we might as well not even speak.
Don't assume anything about me. Because you don't know me. Don't assume nothing about me.
But
stand shit like that.
But you know, yeah, that's real though. You know, and the more we learn, the more we get away from not knowing how to talk to each other, know how to express ourselves to each other without anger always getting in the middle. That's gonna always, unfortunately, keep us divided. And I know that even some people don't want to agree with that, but that's just simply the truth. That's gonna keep us divided. Long as we allow our angers and emotions to get in the way of our differences, to get in the way because of our differences without knowing how to properly communicate with each other. That it's just going to be the way it's going to be, you know, and this is why we still remain in the unfortunate condition that we remain in as a people. I'm sure other races of people, other nationalities of people, among them, some of them, they don't like each other, but they don't let their personal emotions get in the way when it comes to their common, you know, thing as far as each other go with the people. That's why they're successful, unfortunately, more than we are in this country as a people. You see what I'm saying? So we have to keep that. We have to keep that clearly in mind. I understand, you know, because we are, as human beings, at one point in time, going to get emotional, but we got to know how to put checks and balances there. You know what I'm saying? Especially if we trying to come together for a common purpose to, you know, elevate and uplift ourselves, especially about a situation like we've been in as indigenous Black Americans for almost 500 years in this country. And you know, I mean, you know, but this has been a great battle.
Yeah.
In spite of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to, you know, say that even those of you that's in the comment section, thanks for listening and thanks for participating. And as Soul Brother Don Cornelius would say, peace and soul.
Absolutely.